have no, it's just, see, this lucky man's going to probably get a crystal here, okay? You said one of the most important things. Why didn't I get necrosis? Compartmental syndrome. Look it up. Southern Pacific rattlesnake. Compartmental disease. I took 66 vials of antivenom. That's equidistant to how much poison was snapped into me. And you can see I got a little tiny little hole right there. That should be a hole, a huge hole. Everybody seen a brown recluse hole spider? The hole it leaves, the ugliness. How about multiply that by 1,000 and where is it? How come I didn't get it? I can do handstands. Yeah, I got bit in the finger here. My whole arm swelled up like a football. In 20 minutes when I got bit, I ran to the hospital. Okay, and first thing I did was I got bit, and my friend says, "Does it hurt?" Because it was just seconds. He says, "Whoa, did that hurt?" And I said, "Not really, I didn't feel a thing." And then about 10 seconds later, whoa, you talk about burn. Whoa, you talk about sharp pain. What number was it? About 15. Ouch! I mean, really, really sharp and burning. So I went to the sink real fast, and what I did was I sucked on the blood. Who would do that, suck out the venom? You ever heard of that? How many people? Put all up those hands. I want to see how many people are going to die. This is a neurotoxic twin venom snake. This is not a regular diamondback rattlesnake that has only a coagulational poison. This has also a neurotoxic poison, and if you put this in your mouth like I did, and I spit it out, what I did was I just bit myself in the mouth. I just injected some of the venom here. My mouth got numb in a couple of minutes, burned like crazy just like this, and shut my throat shut. Okay, this was a journey. Drove 80 miles an hour to the hospital, and I had to tell Robin, you got to drive faster. I said, man, I'm really feeling bad. My hands were all numb, everything was tingling. I got out, it's 20 minutes, right in front of the ambulance where they drop you off in front of the emergency. You're going right inside. My son called 911 and said he's on his way. I told him, tell him it's a Southern Pacific rattlesnake. This isn't a diamondback. This isn't just a coagulational poison. So in 20 minutes, as soon as I opened up the door, I went out to get out. Whoa, my legs wouldn't work. This is 20 minutes, so don't get bit out in the mountains. 20 more minutes, I was in, I walked right in. They had a place for me because they know you only got little minutes here before you're in trouble. In 20 more minutes, my whole body wouldn't move. Total catatonic. Felt like I had xylocaine over everywhere. I couldn't move a thing. Mouth was open, spit dripping out like crazy with my shirt off. Okay? How many people, when you get bit, remember, you already made one mistake. You just went like that. You're sealing your death already. Remember, you're learning something here when you get bit by a pit viper. Don't do that. Would you put your finger in a tourniquet? How many people here would put their finger in a tourniquet?
No sucking, no tourniquet.
Okay, and why?
Put it below the level of the heart. You don't want to create or invoke more compartmental syndrome. It's going to happen anyway.
And why? Because it's a different type of a venom, right? Because this isn't coagulation.
Liquefaction, it's going to cause a burn. It's alkaline.
How do you know this?
I'm a trauma nurse.
Excellent. No, see, he's right on. Now, what happens is, look, if you put your finger into, this is a neurotoxic poison. You shut this thing down, this whole finger. See, my finger should have necrosis. I should have 2 big holes in here. The doctor says, you're a bloody miracle. I should be sending you now for plastic surgery, getting compartmental, all the stuff that's gangrene. And what's gangrene? All the tissue that the venom touched, killed. That is not you. 50% of the body past 40 years old, 50% is not you. So if you get bit in the hand, this thing crawled up my arm, went under my arm, had an arm that felt like I had a softball under here, blew up my whole side like I was 50 pounds overweight on this side with big love handles. And this side over here had skin that was paper thin. This side over here had this thick all the way up. Now, this was crawling, and the reason why they gave me the anti-venom, because you know what happens with this neurotoxic poison. You put a tourniquet on, and the neurotoxic poison goes in there and eats it all down. You just lost your finger. But that's not the worst part. Take the tourniquet off, now what happens? Woohoo! Right here. This is a neurotoxic poison. Down you go. My heart rate went down to 38 beats a minute. Not only my heart, but my lungs. 50% less. Everything changed massively. Once I heard, because it takes, how long does it take to get antivenom to, you know this? You get this as freeze-dried stuff. And by the way, how much is it a vial? I took 66 vials.
I don't think we have 66 right away on hand.
I took the whole hospital's worth of vials. The guy says he's never seen anybody that's had this. Okay, why? Because you usually get, what happens? Anaphylactic shock. You know what that is? One bee sting, shut your throat shut. So think about this. You're fighting venom with anti-venom. And what do you think they got the anti-venom from? Oh, they're pit vipers. So you're taking a venom and putting it in your body, and if you've got a bunch of creatures inside your body, then what you're doing is basically starting World War III. So with all this crazy stuff that I've been doing, gua sha, okay? All the different things to change my terrain, to knock out, remember, I'm 50 years old, I'm an oldie, I'm not 20, okay? My tissues, remember, once you're 40 years old, 50% of your bodies aren't you anymore. Does everybody get that? 50% of you is not you. So that means most likely then 50% of your thoughts aren't you, 50% of your cravings, your needs, and all those things, because what lives inside you lives with you. And this would actually be sort of like a seamless, unknown parasite living behind you, and you really think that it's you. You're in FM right now. I want you to go ahead and jump into shortwave. This is where I live. Okay? Shortwave's a cool thing, but the problem is it's lonely out here because this ring of consciousness is weird. You're looking into the matrix here, and remember in AM 640 KFI, it's not good, bad, or in between. It's called being under the spell. You're eating the standard American diet. You're eating these very low-level food sources. Remember, this is where I eat right here. And what happened to me? No compartmental disease. Why? Because my creature load was very minimal. Now, if I got bit in the leg, I have more body fat on my leg than I do on my arm. My upper body, look, you can see, is very lean. Okay, and I'm lucky, very lucky. Watch. I mean, it's very lucky to have this as clean as it is, because if not, I would be, right now, I would be in the hospital, 5 days in ICU. That night, the doctor says, okay. And I saw about 6 different doctors, snake specialists. Nobody knows how to treat these snakes. They call the Poison Control Center. They have no idea. Is it true?
It's true. There's usually a specialist that we have to refer to, because it doesn't happen all the time.
It doesn't happen.
Separately, you should have very, very darkened. I should, 5 weeks ago, you said?
No, 5 weeks ago. It happened Sunday and a half ago. It hasn't even been 2 weeks. On my 5th day, that night in ICU, the doctor says, we're going to throw you, we're going to put you on the other side of the hospital, because this over here is $12.5 a day. I took 66 vials at over $2,000 a vial, which means that I got a heavy, heavy, heavy dose. This wasn't poison for me. It was a medicine. It made me faster, quicker, and smarter than basically before I got bit. Remember, you got to get bit yourself. I can't talk about it because there's nothing to say. I'm waiting to see, and it did. I've really done a lot of cleansing, and my intestinal tract bled for 5 days massively. Blackest tar. That chocolate is, just think of it as ebony black tar. Your body, this is what happens. Let's say you're a 50-year-old person like me, and you've got atherosclerosis and arterial sclerosis, which is just basically a band of sclero junk inside your arteries that make you so when you get high blood pressure, well, high blood pressure is because your hoses don't flex. And so what happens is you got this bike, and it goes through and it swells everything up. And you'll see that you either flex like a tube or the tubes crack and you bleed, and it's called hemorrhage. And this is what happens with this snake bite. Massive, as he said, where's your black and blue? It goes to black, it goes to this, first it goes to this real white, it's like deady. Then it gets grayish. And then in just another day it's like black, and the next day it's necrotic death, and you're actually really worrying about called septicemia, which means that you got life and death now, because now you're poisoning your blood with dead creatures. It's not you. Look, nothing happened to me. Okay? This is a 6-month adventure, the guy says. You get bit with the Southern Pacific, it's a pit viper. You know what happens to you if you don't die? You're got a suffering, miserable life for at least a year. 5, 6, 7, 10 surgeries, skinning off skin, doing compartmental such and such. Have you seen this? Okay, so just to show you all the things that I did and all the things that I do, what this has done, like the radiation in the air right now, you don't have thyroid full food or what's called nutrition, then what happens is your body sucks up any iodine it can because the thyroid works on it. So if there's iodine 131 in the air and you don't have as much in your body, why? Because, let me just dump this here, because you're not really having enough iodine in your system. You know, once this radiation thing came, everyone says, hey, where's the chlorella? Who asked me for, how come you don't have chlorella right now? Because everybody bought it in a day. Okay? Sold 1,000 bottles of everything and this overnight. Everything's gone. Why? Because of the radiation scare. And the only ones that knew, and if you're smart right now, you would be eating a lot of sea vegetables because they're way better than the vegetables that grow in the dirt. What do sea vegetables do? What does algae do? Especially like brown seaweed. It cleans the ocean, doesn't it? Okay? What is your body? Is it 18 gallons of salt water? This is pretty simple stuff. Body's a liquid machine. It has nothing to do with eating. The only reason you're going to change its eating supply is so you can slowly transform it to more of a liquiditarian. You want to get healthy? Forget about educating, because actually what it is, it's a big confusion. How about do 21 days of liquids, not water? That's dumb. Anybody doing water fasts now? It's not smart. Water doesn't work anymore. We have plastic, arsenic, thallium, stainless steel. We have all these different chemicals. Do you think water's going to take it out? Especially what? Tap water? Oh, better yet, RO water? Oh, distilled water? What kind of water? Water's very difficult. It carries, remember, London has used their water over and over. Do you know how many times? Remember, you drink water, pee in the toilet, go poop, all the systems go around, and they reuse their water over again. Over and over and over. Okay, you know how much cluster structures are in the water from all the Prozac, Zoloft, and Paxils? All of the different chemicals. The chemicals, remember, carry cluster. You know, you can take arsenic and you can take out everything that's in the arsenic and make it so there are no physical properties in the arsenic, and the arsenic will still kill. Do the same with mercury. It holds what's called a cluster structure. The physical part's gone, but the cluster structure is still there. So you can see that, look, all we're trying to do is, look, if you don't have full nutrition in your body, you're not playing smart, because your body's a machine. It fixes itself. What do you think the idea is, turning lead into gold, alchemists? This machine is an alchemist. I got bit with poison. It wasn't poison to me, but it was poison to others. So once my terrain was at a certain level, and you know, my hand should be shaking. Look, the only thing I have is this little bump right here. Nothing. I worked out on my 5 days. I went to bed, and they shot me up with morphine. When that morphine run, it wasn't even morphine, it was Dilaudid. A little stronger than that. And I asked him, I said, can I have another shot? And he says, no, you've been on this stuff for 5 days, done. But I really like it. And not only don't like it, I need it. Why? It's because it's super addictive. I didn't have that. Let me tell you, I sweat like a pig that night. Okay, talk about a withdrawal. Whoa. So I had to change my bed 3 times. It felt like I peed in it.
You don't take drugs, you're really clean.
Super clean.
It shouldn't have been that strong to you.
Oh my gosh, he says it shouldn't have been that strong. I sweat all night long, and I asked the nurse, I said, can you at least give me, I haven't taken an Ambien in 15 years. Can you give me something to sleep? She gave me some shot or something. I said, I feel like I got this cold sweat over me and I'm sort of shaking. She goes, oh, that's because you're going through withdrawals. Really? Heroin addict, damn. Okay, is that what that feels like? No wonder you can't get off. Because if I had it next to me, I'd say, I don't want to feel like going through this tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes again, and tomorrow comes again, and tomorrow comes again, and you ain't doing nothing. Because what do you think an addiction is again? What's that? Okay, he's saying it's a physiological change. What is, he's right on, but what is, let's go, remember, who runs the show here? What is an addiction?